Howdy everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making a standing ghost centerpiece. So let me show you what the supplies are going to be and we can get to crafting. Alright everyone, as you can see I have a table full of stuff here, so let me tell you the main items that we're going to need to create the standing ghost. We're going to need some cheesecloth. So I've got here a package. This is 4 yards. I got this one from Hobby Lobby. You can pretty much use any fabric that is thin and will drape. You know, it'll just drape down. So this is what I'm going to be using for my ghost. Now at the Dollar Tree, they did have this kind of a cloth, creepy cloth, and it's very lightweight and it will also drape a lot. But it has a bigger hole. The knitting is a lot bigger on it, so I feel like this can be used, but you probably need to do like maybe 3 or 4 layers of it. So if you don't find a cheesecloth, then you can use something like this, or like I said, use a fabric that you can drape. All right, and we're gonna need some Mod Podge or fabric stiffener. I do have a fabric stiffener, but it's called Stiffy fabric stiffener, but I've had this quite a while and I just realized that it's actually expired, so I'm not going to use that, but I happen to have some Mod Podge, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. It'll give us the same effect. You can use an Elmer's glue or Aleene's tacky glue if you want to use that as well. Okay, we're also going to be needing some little decorative things for our ghost. I'm going to put a little face on him, so I've got a little scrap here of some felt, some black felt. It could be any black fabric if you want to cut out eyes and a little mouth. This happens to be stiff felt. You can use a regular felt. Really anything, even some paper would work to make the eyes and the mouth if you want to add that. You can also use like a blue Sharpie or something, or a black Sharpie if you want, but that'll be a little bit harder to draw with. Okay, I've also got here some little lights that I want to put inside, so we might use that. I have some other ones here. I do have another idea for some lights that could work. We're going to see if, you know, how it looks so far. I don't want to give you too many supplies to use, but as you all always know, I end up changing things and I add things and so forth. Okay, so we're going to use some fall leaves. These are just from little packages. I happen to have, you know, quite a few of them here that I've collected. You can buy a little bush at the Dollar Tree. They do have them already, like, you know, like just separate little leaves in a little packet. But if you don't find them, you can get a little bush or from anywhere, a fall. Just cut out the leaves and just use the leaves or whatever you want to use. If you don't want to use them, you don't have to. We can also use some moss, green or just some like Spanish moss. I didn't pull that out, so I think I'll do that right now. I'm going to use a little bit of flowers, whatever combinations you want to use. Again, a lot of the decorations you don't have to use. The ghost is really how I'm going to show you how to make it. How you decorate it, where you put it is all up to you. So all these things that I'm showing you now are pretty much optional. I've got these little pigs. I got little pumpkins. I'm going to use one of those. This I found it from the Dollar Tree. I also grabbed this from the Dollar Tree. Actually, did I get this from the Dollar Tree? Yeah, I did. Okay. Or I may have gotten it. I'm thinking that I got it at Hobby Lobby. I don't know. But they do have these type of picks at the dollar store. Okay, at the Dollar Tree. And then I got these little skulls, little white skulls. I might grab a couple of them and put them around the bottom, decorate around the bottom of my ghost. Now, to make my centerpiece, I could just make the ghost and it could just be standing on a table anywhere. You could put him anywhere. But I want to put him on something where I can just kind of like be a little display. So you can use a wood plaque or whatever you want to use, or a foam board if you want to use that. I bought this little plaque at the Dollar Tree. It was only $1, so it's already cut in the shape and the size that I want. It could be a square, it could be a circle, it could be anything. But this had the 2 edges the same. They have other signs, but the top is shaped one way and then the bottom part is shaped straight. If you don't care about that, then use that, because if you buy a piece of foam board, or even if you find some good hard cardboard as your base, you're going to need to cut it out. So this is already cut out, right? And if you want, you can even just put everything on top of these, you know, whatever's written on there, whatever's drawn on there, you can just put your items on it, turn it around and paint it, or paint this part, whatever you want to do. But this is already, you know, cut out. So this was you know, for $1, it doesn't hurt. So anyway, I got this one, but I do have some black paint because I am going to paint it. You could spray paint it if you want to have a can of spray paint that you're seeing here right on the side. It's super rainy day for me, so that didn't work out. So I had to come up with a different solution. And I decided that I'm just going to paint that. Oh, like I said, you could also use like a wood plaque, or if you have a little scrap of plywood somewhere, use that as your base. Okay, I also got a little piece of, this is a long dowel stick, but I'm going to use a piece of this because I want this to use for the arms to shape my ghost. You could use some twigs from outdoors. I would get some nice sturdy ones. Don't get any floppy ones. And it doesn't matter how thick they are. We just want them to create a shape. So you're going to need some little twigs or a dowel stick. Or maybe even some pencils you could probably use. Okay, so and also to create something to create the shape of our ghost, we're going to need something that we're okay with the size of. You know, the height. It could be a Coke bottle, a water bottle. It could be just any canister that you might have, or a vase that's heavy, weighted down, that's not going to get knocked over. I'm going to use my can of spray paint. Why not? We're also going to need a balloon to blow up, to put at the very top to create a roundness for the head of our ghost. Now, if you want to get a little bowl or something that's round and you want to put this on here, tape it on real good to whatever you're putting down here, and that works for you, great. A balloon is nice. You just pop it afterwards, no big deal. If it gets glue all over it, we're not going to care. Okay, but I am going to be using some plastic wrap anyway, so I got some of that. I actually got this from the Dollar Tree. I got some tape to tape all that down. You could use duct tape, whatever you want. Brushes to brush on anything. My scissors. I'm probably going to grab my wire cutters. I've got my hot glue gun going here, some hot glue sticks, and anything else that I can think of that I may have forgotten, I will just bring it out. So let's get to crafting. Alright, something I did not mention is you need a bowl or a container, something that you can pour your Mod Podge in, because we're going to be taking our cheesecloth and dipping it in there. So you need a bowl, something big enough where you can maneuver your hands and squeeze the cheesecloth. I have this from the Dollar Tree. It was only $1, so it's a good item to use. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to create the base. That this is going to be my base, obviously, not the base that I'm going to put everything on, but the base for the shape, and I'll explain that. Let me get this off of here first. We're not going to worry about those little holes. I'm not going to worry about anything else. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to sit down some paper, because I want to protect the area that I'm working on. And I also want to know the size of this base before I actually start creating my ghost. And I've noticed that this paper, this is just the paper here in the front. It kind of extends over. They didn't quite line it up with the little board in the back. Okay, so let's just take that off because it's kind of popping out on there. Okay. So I'm going to use this to trace around it, so I'll know the space that I can work on when I start laying down my cheesecloth. It's okay, I got a little hole there, but that's all right. As long as I got the basic size of my shape, which is that right there. Okay, the next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to lay plastic wrap on here. So we're going to do that. Probably should have turned off the little fan. This is just some inexpensive plastic wrap that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to throw everything on the floor like I always do and sweep it up later. I've actually got 2 bags down there full of stuff. Okay, so we want to place down our plastic just so things don't get stuck to this paper. I don't want to have to be peeling off paper from our little ghost. So we just want to put this on here. I'll be right back. I'm going to turn the little fan away from this. Okay, now we got our fan not facing this. And I'm going to put another piece of this down. And it doesn't have to be perfectly laid out. It can be wrinkled, no big deal. The only thing I'm going to tell you is you're going to want to get some tape. Let's get this over here. You're going to want to get some tape and tape down the edges so it doesn't move all over the place. My goodness. Of course, I happen to grab the tape dispenser that doesn't have a little thing to cut. So you just want to tape it down so it doesn't move on you. Okay, so I've already taped down this. It won't move anymore. Let me move this a little bit that way. Here we go, so you can see the whole thing. But I can still see my pencil lines there where I'm going to know that this is how much space I have for my ghost. I'm going to put my spray paint right in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and blow up a balloon, tie it up, and we're going to take this to the very top, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. And just blow it up to about the size that you think you would want the head to be. So if this is how tall I want, I probably don't want a really big head. Just want it big enough, but I want to make a nice tight, you know, knot on it so that it's nice and round. So I can tape that down right here. And this is what we're going to use some tape so it doesn't bob around on us. And I keep forgetting this tape doesn't have the little teeth. Tape that down. Okay, so I'm just going to keep taping it, and also tape it like that and tape it like that so it doesn't, you know, move around on me, okay? Okay, so I'm back, and I've just been putting tape around the edges just to tape it down and keep it down like that. Okay, now we're going to want some little arms. This is where you want some twigs, and you want to be able to put them here. And as you can see, I can put them through the tape, and a little dowel stick is perfectly fine. And then just decide how wide you want it. So if you're going to put one little stick first, tape it down really good on this side. Trim it if you have to. Put another stick over here, and if it has to be trimmed, of course, trim it. Tape it down really good. I'm going to use a dowel stick because I can just put it all the way through. So if you can find yourself a little branch, and the reason that I said that you can use twigs or branches is because some of them might be curved. So that'll give you a really cool little shape on the arms of the cheesecloth as it comes this way. So that'd be really cute. But I'm just going to go ahead and use this, and only because it's really rainy outside, and I don't want to go get a wet stick because, you know, I waited till the last minute. So I'm just going to cut this to a size where I feel comfortable. And I'm going to just slide it through the tape here. Have it come out the other side. See, just like that. I slid it through. Make sure I don't poke the balloon. It's not so blown up so tight that it should pop, but you never know. Okay, so this is going to be, I think I'm going to do a little bit less because I'm looking at the width here, and I don't want this cheesecloth to fall beyond that. So I'm going to go a little bit less to make sure it falls within the size that I have here. And if you have to measure this and then come up here with a measuring tape, do it that way. Okay, I'm going to go right here. I think that'll be okay. Let me go ahead and get something to measure. Let's see. This is almost, it's about 11 inches. It's going to fall within. You can just push it in a little bit to make sure it falls in here. You can shape it, okay? All right, so now, in order for me to also be able to remove the cheesecloths off of here, because, you know, there's going to be Mod Podge, and I don't want it to glue onto the stick or the can. It really won't stick to the can. Or like if you had like a Coke bottle or something like that. And the balloon, you just pop it and it unsticks really quickly from there. But if you feel like, you know, some of these items that you have on here, you really don't want anything to stick on it, then get some of this plastic wrap and just shape around it, you know. And then you can make sure that, you know, you're not going to get anything on the items that you have on here. Like if you use a little glass bowl or something, you really don't want anything to get on it. The same thing with a little dowel stick. If you want to be able to save it for something else and not have a bunch of glue on them, just cover them. And they don't have to be perfectly covered. Just, you know, so it doesn't move around. Let's do what I was doing. Holding it with my stomach like that. Okay. Thank God for those strong abs. Ah, okay. Let's put that like that. See? And we're just kind of forming a little bit there just to cover that up. Okay, if you happen to find something that you can use, but you don't want to get any glue on it, this is what you do. Just cover it up. Okay, let's go ahead and put all these things away, and I shall be back. All right, everyone, you're going to want to protect yourself as well. And I've also got some damp paper towels here so I can clean my hands right away, because I am going to be dipping my hands into the Mod Podge. Now, I've seen it done where people drape the cheesecloth over it and then they just brush on the Mod Podge. You can go ahead and do that if you prefer to do that. I've just done it that other way, and that works for me, so I'm going to go ahead and try that. I'm going to get my cheesecloth and just drape across it, over it like that, so I can get my first piece, and then I'm going to cut it. Now, I want to cut it so that not only does it go all the way down on each side, but just a little bit extra, because we can always trim, or just, actually I'm just going to curl it in. And don't worry about how straight or crooked you're cutting it, because we don't really want like a really pretty straight end on the bottom of our ghost. So I'm going to take this cloth and I'm going to completely open it. And we're probably going to use more than this one piece that we cut, depending on how this is folded anyway. I see the ends here, but let's find out. Oh, it's folded over here. Okay, so just open it up, and it's going to get all on itself again, you know, so don't worry about it too much. So I'm just opening it all up. So I'm going to give you an example of what you can do. Okay, so you can take it and drape it over, and then you can start brushing on the Mod Podge. And as you're brushing it on, you'll be shaping your ghost. Now, if your ghost is just going to go on some table, you're not going to worry about it's going to be sitting on any little base or plaque or anything, then you can pretty much shape the bottom as far out as you want. But I'm going to make mine so that it fits within this little shape that I've got down here. And this is where you can go ahead and just trim off some bits if you want. I'm going to want this to drape like that. So I'm going to push it in his shoulders, and then I'm just going to push it in like that, and then have some of it kind of come out like that. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing once I get it all wet and drenched with the Mod Podge. Now, in hindsight, maybe the little head could have been a little bit smaller, or maybe the arms could have been a little bit longer, but I'm going to go ahead and keep the size because of my base. Now, the only thing I'm going to do, so I don't have so much fabric, is these corners that I have here. I'm going to cut them and round them out. So that's all I'm going to do. And like I said, don't worry too much about cutting it, you know, perfectly. You know, this little corner, I cut it off right here. So I'm going to do the same on all the four corners. Okay, so now I've cut it so that I don't have so much bulkiness down here. And I'm going to go ahead and take this off of here now. And this stays where it's at. I'm going to get my Mod Podge, and I did pour a little bit of it because I still had some in an old can and an old, you know, bottle. That's still good. And I've got my brand new one here that I hadn't opened. And I'm going to pour that in as well. And I'm not going to water this down. I want it to be, you know, fairly good so that I can go ahead and get a nice stiffness on my ghost here, so that if I don't put him on a base, I can put him wherever I want. I can move him around. Okay, so I've got enough here. If I have too much, I can always pour it back. And if I don't have enough, I can always put more. So I'm going to take one end, get it in there. Don't try to put it all in one ball, okay? Because then you'll lose, like, well, where was the beginning? Here's an end over here. And then I'm just going to, like, get it all on the cheesecloth, like that. And as I'm bringing it in there, I'm just going to be squeezing excess. Get it in there. Squeeze excess, and like I said, it's going to be very messy, so that's why I said protect yourself. Okay, so now I'm going to put this out of the way here, and I've got this piece here. So now we just want to open it up, spread it out and find the center, and then you can go ahead and just drape it, because then we're going to look for more. I think it's folded in half here, you guys. We're not folded in half, but you know, let's see. And just stretch it. Yep. And that's what you're going to be doing, okay? You're just going to be stretching and pulling it till you've got it all spread out. All the ends unrolled. Okay. And I'm just going to bring it over a little bit. And I want to make sure the front is touching the bottom here. And then you can just push it in whatever you got to do. Like I'm going to push this into its shoulder right here to shape it right there. And it's nice to get it a little bit like a little fold. So that looks kind of neat. And do the other side the same. And just push it in there. Get little folds. And then let the rest of it just kind of hang. But pull out wherever, you know, the fabric seems to want to roll into itself. Just pull that out. And it doesn't even have to be equally even on the sides. Okay? This is so much fun, you guys, because you know what starts happening is that it starts drying up a little bit on your hands. So this is why you want these napkins, so you can, you know, wet your hands. It's not going to completely clean them because you're going to get them dirty anyway. But you can wet your hands so you don't feel that, you know, kind of drying glue on your finger, on your hands. Now, if you feel like one piece of cheesecloth is not enough, grab another one, dip it in, put it on top of this one. I would wait for this one to dry a little bit and then do another bit on top. Now, there's something that I'm noticing is that I have a lot of space up here and I don't in the back, so I'm just going to move my can over. I'm going to walk around the front so I can look at it. And I want this to be a centerpiece, so I want to make sure that this is within the plaque, the little base here. Just let it fall. Okay, so I've been draping it, and like I said, I moved the can over a little bit to the front because I noticed that it was too far back. So center it on here, on my little drawing that I made with a pencil. And I've also been like pulling over some of the cloth this way to the front because I noticed that I was draping it way more at the back than I was at the front. And it doesn't really matter, but I kind of want this to be a centerpiece. This could be something that you could just put somewhere that, you know, the back doesn't show, especially if you're putting, there's a wall behind it, you don't have to worry about it. But I kind of want this to work as a centerpiece, you know, so we can have that option. And don't worry about these little pieces down here because as long as they're within the space, it doesn't matter where they fall, there's little drapes, because we can, we're going to put some flowers and some leaves and things like that on our plaque before we put it down, and maybe even some leaves over it and flowers. So I would just worry about it making a little ghostly shape, okay? All right, everyone, once you have it draped and you're satisfied with the way that you have draped it, you can go ahead and come with a little brush and brush some more Mod Podge onto it. And also you want to go ahead and start facing your little fan or something towards it to, you know, something with a fan, or put it somewhere where there's plenty of ventilation where it can dry. You might need to let this dry overnight so you get nice and dry. That's the only way it's going to really work, to be nice and stiff and stand on its own. Like I said, you can do another layer. I feel like I'm happy with this like that. I've done it before where I've just done one layer and then I've let that dry completely and come back. Because if I put too much weight on it, once I pop the balloon, that weight, especially on the very top, might want to droop into, you know, the rest of it. So I only want to use one layer of fabric. Okay, so I'm going to also go ahead and start brushing more of this Mod Podge on it. And then I'm just going to let it dry. I'm especially going to make sure that I get some on these bottom edges because that'll make them nice and stiff. And they pretty much like a wire kind of a effect on the bottom, and that'll hold my ghost. Now at the end of all of this, you know, I kept saying the back of my ghost and the front of my ghost. At the end of the whole thing, when it's all dry, you know, I can decide, you know what, I like the back better for the front. So you can do the same thing. Okay, so I'm just going to brush this on, and then I'm just going to leave it here to dry. And I'm going to go ahead and get ahead also, and I'm going to take my the little actual plaque that I'm going to use at the bottom. I had said I was going to paint it black, so I'm going to go ahead and paint that black. I don't think you need to see me painting it. I'm just going to be using a brush and a little craft paint, acrylic craft paint, to paint that. If it was a beautiful day, I would just take it outside and just spray it and get it over with, but it's not. And it's already kind of late in the day. Some parts of my ghost have already started drying. The Mod Podge has already started drying, so I can feel some stiffness already happening. And that's really nice. Okay, so I will be back once I've got my little plaque painted. It's already completely dry. And once my ghost is also completely dry, that's when I'm going to be back, when I know that I can go ahead and work with it and continue to decorate it. All right, everyone, I've got my little ghost here. He's gotten a bit stiff here with the fan hitting him. Now, ideally, I would let this dry completely. I would wait till the next day, or at least 8 hours. It hasn't even been an hour, so maybe 2 hours at the most since I last left it here. And I've been kind of like pulling on it here, so to see if he'll just come right off the plastic, and it is. And you know, he's so semi-stiff. I don't know if that helps to describe him, but he's still got some little wet glue spots on him. But you know what, I need to go ahead and get this video done, so hopefully this will not collapse on me. I've gone ahead and I painted this little base here. I just kind of scraped off the back a little bit, trying to pull off some of the paper, and then I just went over with a brush, but I decided that I wasn't going to paint it because it really needs to just be dry. So I'm going to go ahead and try to remove this now from the can here and the balloon. So we're going to remove this paper. I don't need it here anymore. Okay, so now I just want to carefully remove it. I'm going to try not to pull on anything. I'm going to let this plastic loose off the can. And of course the balloon is taped down. So I'm going to try and reach in there and grab the tape. Just carefully. And if the balloon pops at us, that's great. We want it to pop anyway. I'm just trying to get it to untape from the lid of the spray can. It's very soft and delicate because it's not dry enough. Okay, there we go. Now I want to remove the stick. And there, I just want to check it. Okay. Let me go ahead and pop this guy. I'm going to reach in. It needs to be a lot stiffer. He's still too soft. There we go. Get that. And I'm going to try and remove the plastic. But you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and leave that in there. Just get this tape out. And here's our little ghost. I'm scared to take the plastic off, you guys. Here's a little ghost, and I'm scared to stand him because he's not quite stiff enough. But you get the idea, like if you were to let it dry completely, it would be stiff enough. I think I need the fan more than the ghost does right now. Okay, I'm going to try and remove some of the plastic, but I'm scared that removing the plastic is going to kind of mess up my ghost. So I'm just going to remove the long pieces, just reach in there and cut them off like that, because it's not really disturbing anything on the look of the ghost. It's not doing anything to disturb that. So I think we're going to just go ahead and leave him like that. And this is going to be my base where I'm going to want him to now stand on, so I don't have to be grabbing him, and I can just go like this and just put him wherever I want. So now we want to decorate it. So this is where we're going to go ahead and grab a little flowers, a little pumpkins. If you want to use some moss on here to decorate, you can do so. Now, let's say that you do this and you're a little bit scared of it. We can take a dowel stick like this and we can cut it to size and we glue it down onto our little board and then just slide our ghost onto it so that the little head rests on here, and we make sure that he doesn't come down. I don't know if this is tall enough. I might need to get a little bit taller one. Let's find out. Ideally, you wouldn't move him around as much as I am because, you know, I think I need him to be a little bit taller, the little stick. Okay. Let me go ahead and do that. I have the other piece of the dowel that I had. I'm going to go ahead and cut one. And if you feel more comfortable, we can paint a white or you can paint a black to put them in there. I'm going to go ahead and cut another one a little bit longer, and I'm going to go ahead and paint it white. So I'll be back when I've done that to another piece of dowel. Alright everyone, I've got my dowel that I've already painted here with some white, and I've got a little, kind of like a little bit of styrofoam that I've had left over from some of the projects, so I just cut out a little square so that I can go ahead and put this in here and stick my dowel stick into it. So that'll kind of help hold that. I'm actually going to stick it where it's in the taller position. So just somewhere where I think is the middle. And then some on the stick. And then I can put that right into the styrofoam all the way down. Just making sure. Now I'm going to see if this is, if I measured it at the correct height to put my, I was going to say my angel, my ghost in there. If he's a little too tall, then we'll cut it. Nope, he's perfectly fine. And he's going to help, I mean, there's still like a little tiny, no, it's right on there. I guess I measured it perfectly. But you want to, what I did is I put it up against the edge of the table so that I could hold the stick further down. And then I put a ruler on top to kind of level and help the dowel here. And right at the marking right above here is where I decided to cut it. But I went just a tiny bit down, a little bit low, just to make sure, because I would rather that my ghost be kind of floating up a little bit than, you know, be on here and then still have room to maybe collapse itself down a little bit. You know, but that's okay. I like it. And I'm just going to push him in like this because I like this little shape that he gets when you push him in. Okay, so now that I know that this height of this is perfectly fine, I'm going to put a dot of glue here. Right on there. And it's okay if it drips down because we're not going to see that. Not really. Okay, so then we put our angel or our ghost back on there. And this was my back. And this was my front. Yeah, he's still looking good where I wanted him. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to start gluing him down onto here. Now, if you prefer not to do that, you don't have to do that. Like I said, if you were to wait for this to get like really nice and stiff, you're not going to have, you can still crush it. This doesn't mean that this is going to be so hard that you can't, you know, push it in or crush it, or, you know, it's not going to be something delicate. It's still going to be something delicate regardless of whether it's completely dry or like mine that's still kind of, you know, the glue is still kind of flexible and movable. And so it's not going to be completely hard, okay? So just so you know that. If you want it so where you can just put it wherever you want, then you don't have to glue them onto anything. But I would suggest just a little block of styrofoam and then the little stick in there. Of course, the styrofoam won't get stuck to anything. It'll just be stuck to the stick. And then on the inside in here, just so that you have something in the middle to keep it, you know, from collapsing downward. But anyway, I just think this is really nice. And of course, if you're going to put this away, then I suggest getting plastic bags or tissue and stuffing it real good on the inside before you put it away in a little box. That'll help you keep the shape as well. But there we go. This is our little ghosty. And now we want to decorate down here. And I said I wanted to make some eyes and a nose. So let me get my materials ready for that. so that we can go ahead and get to the next step. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to do was also put some lights in him, just to light up inside. Now you could use a battery operated candle if you wanted to put that in there, and then just kind of slide him up carefully. Like I said, put the little styrofoam and the stick-ins into him, but don't stick the styrofoam down to anything. Maybe a little bit bigger block of styrofoam would be good. I just want to see how these lights are going to look. I just want to rest them inside. Unplug my fan. And I just want to put them in there. I have everything plugged into this cord. So, just going to lift up a little bit. Stick these in there. Oh, that would look good. You know what I'm going to do? Well, I don't want the green of the cord to. I was thinking that I would like to put it, you know, kind of maybe twirl it around the stick inside. But you know what? I don't want that. I don't want that. The cord is what I'm saying. But if you get like a cord, a white cord of lights, you know, and just get some clear white lights, that'll work. You put them in there. Maybe you can even find some red lights. Red lights would look cool in there, shining from inside. But I think white, clear white lights would be nice with a white cord. That would be good. And then you could twirl it on the little stick inside of it. But I like the way this looks. It almost looks like he's like over some fire or something. So I'm going to go with this look. It's just a cluster. I'm just going to unplug it for now. Okay, so as you saw, I went ahead and I unplugged it, but I'm going to leave these in there. Now, I don't want this part because I want to leave it, you know, as like a permanent thing on this little board here. And maybe the reason that I'm mainly doing this is because I'm giving this to my niece. And I want her to take it, you know, as one piece like that. So I'm going to put some glue down here in front where I can glue this down. I'm not going to do it all along the edges. I'm just going to do it like in certain little spots because I want to reach in there and glue some leaves, okay? So maybe the smarter thing would be to put these leaves on there first, wherever I want, or like put some moss. Like I said, you could use some Spanish moss or some green moss. And I thought about taking some out, but then I'm kind of liking the idea of just putting leaves. So I'm going to start gluing leaves. Just reaching, just a little dot of glue for the leaf. And then if you want to completely cover all this black, you can just put leaves everywhere and then cover the whole thing. I think I want kind of yes and kind of no covering, so maybe some tucked underneath like that. But I do want them all to be, you know, on here and not on top of my ghost. I don't know. I might put a few, like, you know, they've been flying off of a tree and kind of landed on him maybe here and there. So we can decorate him any way we want with these leaves. So that's what I'm going to do. Just put some leaves anywhere. I've got more, so I'm not going to worry about this little tiny stack that I have here. And then I had another package that I got at Hobby Lobby, and it had these smaller ones. And I think those are pretty neat too, so I'm going to go ahead and use some of that as well. Now, the back of the ghost, this part back here, I'm not going to glue that down, I don't think. I think I'm just going to glue like the front part here. And this one I'm going to leave it kind of free, because if these lights ever go out, we can actually just go ahead and just slide them out, you know, carefully. And then slide back a new one, or maybe even slide in a candle in there. So this is not going to come out. Okay, we're just going to leave the cord as long as it is before our light starts. And what we can do is we can just tape down right here the cord. And let me go ahead and do that. And I probably use like a good tape. I'm just going to use my regular tape that I have here for now. Just some Scotch tape. Then maybe use like a little piece of some duct tape. Okay, so with that little dip there, and you're not even going to see it because, you know, the ghost. ends up covering it. And like I said, if you have any little bits that come out like this, I don't know if you can see that right here, I can just snip that off. It was a little piece, like, let me put it on the black so you can see it. It was a little piece like that right here that was sticking out here, and I didn't like it, so I just snipped that off. And over here it's got some little thread here that, you know, you can also just snip off. Anywhere that you see, like, I'll show you this little spot right there. See how that's like a little bit of glue there? Just snip that off, because that got onto the plastic, and then when I removed it, that dried up glue came up with it. Just a little bit more over here. So just clean it up. You can do that. I see some up here in the front as well that I'm just gonna trim off. But the rest of it I like. I like the way it looks. I like the little puddles of, you know, cheesecloth right here. And it's still, I can see that the glue in there is still not quite completely dry. When I push on it, I can see it kind of like move because it's created like little bubbles, little pockets of glue. Okay, so I'm going to continue putting as many leaves as I want onto my little base here. And I will be back once I've put as many as I'm happy with. Okay, this is what I've done so far. Okay everyone, so I'm just continuing to just finish off here with the little leaves around the bottom, and I've purposely left a little spot here kind of bare because the leaf that I put there, I want to make sure I put lots of glue on it before I put it down. Here's a nice one right here. Put lots of glue on it. I want every bit of it to lift that up, glue that down. Okay, so I'm going to take this little pick and I'm going to just remove it so that I just have the little pumpkin, and I'm going to put that on that leaf right there, and that's why I wanted to make sure that I glue that whole leaf down so that when I glue the pumpkin onto there, it wasn't going to be flapping around. Glue on that. Just making sure it's facing, yeah, it's facing forward. Right there. So you can see that right there. Okay. And let's go ahead and make his little eyes and little mouth. So I'm just going to take this felt and cut 2 pieces, and then just kind of cut like little ovals, and they don't have to be exactly the same size. But, you know, just round it off as best as you can, or make it ovally like I said. No little sharp edges or little flat edges, so I'm just going to now take them apart so that I can do that, because, you know, once you've cut them and you're moving them around, they don't stay right up against each other. They'll move around, and then you're just making a mess. So just, you know, any little bits that you need to cut to round it off, just do that. Make 2 little eyes. And then we want to make a little mouth. And of course the eyes can't be too big because, you know, the face, the head is not too big there. And the mouth can be shaped any way you want. I kind of want it to be like he's going, ooh, you know, kind of long. I don't know, that's a good ghost sound. But like he's, you know, got a long open mouth. Like that, I don't know, that character from that scary movie. He's got that long open mouth. Kind of want that. So that's what I want, because I want that expression. Okay, now let me take a look at him from the front, because it looks like he's pushed in a little bit. So I'm just going to reach in there and push that out. There we go. I think the best thing to do is to use a dowel stick. So I'm going to use this little dowel stick to reach in, because then my hand just kind of messes everything up. Now the area where the eyes are, I don't actually mind if those are kind of indented inward. So I kind of use my fingers to kind of push in right here a little bit. Okay, that's where I'm going to glue the 2 eyeballs in there. And let me see, are they too big? Let me compare. I'm going to make them just a little bit smaller. I'm going to cut one of them first and then I'll do the other one. Yeah, just not just a little bit smaller. That's a lot smaller. Okay, I'll use this one as my pattern now to cut the other one. Okay, like I said, they don't have to be exactly the same. Actually, they're kind of wonky. Makes it a little cuter. Put that right in there. Yep. And the other side. Up there. And then his mouth. And I like the, kind of like a little bit wider part. It's like a little peanut shape. Kind of like a wider part be on the bottom. And I'm going to reach in with my dowel stick to push that out, because if I push on the mouth, it'll just make that all go in, and I don't want that. And anywhere where I may have pushed in, just push it out. There we go. Look at his face. Oh my god, I think he's so cute, and his eyes are all wonky, but I like that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and continue decorating down here. You can leave them nice and simple as it is. Now, I've already glued down some spots here and there, so I'm going to go ahead and reach under here and where the board is, put some glue, and then push that forward. I think I did that right here too, but I'm going to go ahead and do that right there. And make my way over to this side and just glue that down. But I'm not going to glue this back part, like I said. Okay, there we go. And you can just decorate them real nice and simple. I got these little skulls. I thought they were kind of interesting looking, so I'm going to go ahead and put them around him, maybe on the bottom here, little skull on this side, and then maybe another one next to the pumpkin on the other side. And if you like, you can also add some little bits of flowers. Like I told you, I'm going to put some leaves to look like they've been blown by the wind and kind of been coming down and falling on him. So I'm going to let some of them kind of overlap him. Let's see. Yeah, right up here in the front. Let's get this really nice, pretty orange one. Put that one right there. And then I'll use some of these smaller ones, like this red maroonish color, so pretty. Right on top. One on his shoulder right here. Just kind of flowing down his body. Like that. It's up to you how much you want to put. You don't have to put so much. And like I said, I kind of want this to be a centerpiece, but this is pretty much turning into maybe like a putting it on the wall so that I can plug him in. Now, if I put him as a centerpiece on a table, I can just put this part here, maybe like a placemat, like hold this and tape it down to your table and then put a placemat over it. And then this can just dangle down where you can get an extension cord to run off your table or your island, wherever you're going to put him. Or if you just decide to put him in your kitchen counter, plug him in the wall, or a shelf or in the living room or your entry, wherever you want to put him. Maybe on a stand, like a side table in your living room. Okay, I'm going to put some more of these small little leaves here and there just to cover up some of the black. I don't really need to cover up the whole board. I'm just seeing where I think I might want to. There's a lot of orange up there in the front, so I'm going to add a little bit of yellow overlapping here, just a little bit. Okay, so then I did have some flowers as well, and these I'm just going to pull them off like that. I'm just going to trim off some of that little bit there. Get some more glue on my glue gun. Excuse me. There we go. And I'm pretty much going to build like a little cluster right here where the pumpkin is. Right here on this side. And let's see. Let me get some of these flowers. Just take them off. And trim off this little black back piece. Let me turn it around so I can look at it. I think somewhere behind the skull I'm going to tuck this one in. I'm kind of gluing it in the back of the head of the skull a little bit. And then I'll put one in front of it. Or to the side of it, actually. Do I like that? I do. Okay, so now I'm going to take some of these. And I'm also going to trim. I want to turn this around so that you can see what I'm doing. And just add a little, whoops, there we go. Add a little bit of glue. And this one I'm going to have it peeking out from behind this little skull here. And maybe just one flower. Let me get one that's not so big. Actually, this one that I was grabbing is a good one. And still up at any point, okay? Stop adding stuff. But I want more of these little bittersweet ones. These little flowers are called bittersweet. They're so pretty. Let me look at my little arrangement from the front. I want this one kind of coming up back behind here on the ghost. See, I stuck that right in there. So you can see I just made it like a little bit of a floral arrangement, a little bit of on this side, and I think that looks really good, you guys. Should we put a little leaf on his head? Like, ooh, a little leaf fell on my head. Oh, kind of off to the side. There we go. And there, that's it, you guys. Okay, let's take a good look at him. Let me clean up, and I'll be right back. All right, everyone, I have finished my little standing ghost centerpiece. I'm going to go ahead and plug him in. There we go. Oh, that looks so cute. And I'll turn off the lights and show you what it looks like in the dark. But this is it. This has been my centerpiece. I really like him a lot, everyone. It takes some time to let this dry and wait, but I think it's really worth it at the next day when you come back to look at it and work on it. Like I said, this is for the purpose of the video, why I had to do it quickly, but I really would like it to be dried completely so it's not so wobbly like it has been. But like I said, even after it's dry, it's still going to be a delicate project. So you want to take really good care of it. I think it comes out really great. I didn't use that much of my Mod Podge, so it's really not that expensive to create. A cheesecloth is not expensive. All these little decorations, they're from the Dollar Tree, little pieces here and there left over also from the projects. So it really wasn't all that expensive. Now, the 4 yards of cheesecloth was $3. You might find it for a lot less. And I didn't even use, maybe even a yard if I even used any of it. And the lights were $1. The little board was $1. And then of course, I've got all these little leaves. So I'm just going to say $1 for the ghost. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 $4, maybe $5 because of the little leftover pieces. So that's pretty much what you're going to spend on something like this. And of course, the bit of Mod Podge. I'm going to round up to just what your supplies that you use would be about $6, $7, okay? And this is if you go looking for a lot of the stuff at the Dollar Tree. Now, if you go find them somewhere else, it might cost you a little bit more. But like I said, some of the leaves and little flowers, as you saw, they were just little pieces from other leftover projects. That's gonna go a long way. So you just kind of have to just divide what you did spend on it. So that's what I'm saying, about $6 or $7. Now you were gonna sell it, multiply it by 3, and there you go. You make $20 or whatever on your little project. But make sure that I would put a fragile sign on it. Okay, everyone, I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up. I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up. leave a nice comment down below. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so. This is the time to do it. Hit that little notification bell to let you know that I put up videos every Tuesday and Friday, and sometimes I have a weekend vlog. And thank you to everyone who has been subscribing, and thank you everyone for your nice comments. Make sure you share on your social medias. Let's turn this light off. Let's see. Is this it? No, that one. Oh, that didn't even help. Okay. I'll have to turn off my craft light above me. But here we go, everyone. I'll turn off the light right after this. In the meantime, enjoy.